A few videos ago, I asked y'all what you thought were the most beautiful fish in the aquarium hobby. And boy, did you have a lot of suggestions. I took the top 10 most suggested fish, put them in a poll, and posted that on the channel, and today we're going to discuss the results. Here is our list of the most beautiful fish in the freshwater aquarium hobby. When I say our list, I mean your list. If you don't agree with this list, I don't know what to tell you, because it's not my fault. And believe me when I tell you, there's some fish on this list that I definitely don't agree with. Oh, speak of the devil. Okay, I gotta be honest with you here. I love Corydoras, and I think they're one of those fish that should be in almost every community tank. They're cute, energetic, and fun to watch, but the most beautiful fish? No. I can think of probably 20 fish I'd put before them, but it's not my list. It's yours. And 12% of the 4,000 people that voted disagree with me. I'm by no means saying they're ugly. They're definitely not ugly. But when I think of beautiful fish, I think of bright colors, reds, yellows, and blues. Most Corys are brown or black and maybe a little silver. There's nothing flashy about them at all. Again, not hating, just giving you my opinion. Sure, the sterbies and the pandas are really nice fish, but again, most beautiful? No. But maybe you disagree with me and want to get some of these fish. Well, you're going to want to have them in at least a 20-gallon aquarium. Make sure you put some quality sinking food in there for them, because they'll pretty much stay at the bottom of the tank. And be sure to keep them with non-aggressive fish, because Cory cats, well, they ain't hurting nobody. I know it sounds like I'm hating these fish. I can assure you I'm not. In fact, we have a bunch of Cory cats right now. We've got some in that tank there, and Lisa has a whole bunch of them in that 125 back there. We love these fish. I'm just saying, I can think of probably 20 fish that I'd say are more beautiful than Cory cats. But again, not my list.
I gotta be honest, sure how I feel about this one. Angelfish only got 13%. I mean, I didn't expect it to be number 1, but I certainly didn't expect it to be number 6. But hey, like John said, this isn't our list. It's yours, and y'all decided there's 5 other fish that are prettier than angels. Now, don't get me wrong. The top 5 fish on the list are amazing. It just surprises me that this one isn't higher. Anyway, let's just move on. Angelfish are one of the most popular and common fish in the hobby, and when you look at them, you can see why. There isn't another fish in the hobby that even comes close to them. They have one of the most distinct and recognizable shapes in the hobby. This is one of those fish that a lot of companies use just a silhouette of as their logo, and everyone knows exactly what it is. They're available in a bunch of different color varieties, and they stand out as a centerpiece in almost any tank. But there's a misconception that we need to clear up. Most of the time when you find angels in the fish store, they're going to be babies the size of maybe a nickel or a quarter. This makes fish keepers think they'll be okay in smaller tanks like 20 gallons or even 29 gallons. Please don't do this. Angels get way bigger than you think, and to reach their full potential, you'll want them in at least a 55-gallon. Just trust me on this one. Angels will generally be peaceful in most community tanks, and usually the only time you have problems with them is when they're breeding. So just give them a try. They're easy to keep, and they're just fun to watch in a tank. I think they should be higher on the list, but you know what? At the end of the day, they're still on the list, so that's really all that matters.
Okay, top 5. It's time to get serious. And we're going to start off the top 5 with an absolute banger. A fish that everybody talks about in every conversation about the most beautiful fish out there and most peaceful cichlids out there. I'm talking about none other than the electric blue acara. This is a fish that when you see it for the first time, I don't care who you are or where you're from, you're going to say, "Oh, what's that?" Just look at them. Not only are they stunning neon blue color, but they do something that a lot of other bluefish don't, and that's pose. The African cichlid world has a ton of gorgeous bluefish, but those fish are nuts. They're super energetic all the time, so sometimes it can be tough to get a real good look at them. Electric blue acaras just sit there like, hey, look at me, aren't I gorgeous? It's almost like they know they're beautiful and they want you to stare at them. I've never seen one that doesn't behave this way. The funny thing is, if I walked up to a tank at a pet store that was full of them and they all went crazy like African cichlids do, I'd be like, what in the world are those? Anyway, enough drooling over these fish. Yes, they're gorgeous and they know it, but that's not the best thing about them. They're also never a problem in an aquarium. They're known as one of the more peaceful cichlids in the hobby and don't have the nasty attitude most others do. They'll mix with community fish really well and stay relatively small as far as cichlids go, so they're usually only going to get maybe a little over 6 inches, so they don't need a huge tank. I'd still like to see them in at least a 40-gallon with some larger peaceful community fish, and yes, I said larger because at the end of the day, they're still cichlids, and they'll swallow any small fish they can fit in their mouth. Oh, and plants. Electric blue acaras love plants. It gives them nice little places to hide, and I happen to know the best place you can order plants for your electric blue acaras. My website, keepfishkeeping.com. Just click this little thing right down here. Take you right to it. You can order up the best plants in the industry for your electric blue acaras.
This is perfect. John just got done talking about one of the most peaceful, absolutely gorgeous cichlids, and I get to do one too. But this one might be more perfect for you. I'll admit electric blue acaras are incredible, but what if you're someone that doesn't have room for a 40 or a 55-gallon tank? You want a pretty blue cichlid that looks kind of similar to the acara, but stays way smaller. Well, German blue rams might be what you're looking for. These are some of the cutest fish you'll ever see in your life, but there is one thing about them that's kind of funny. They're not very blue. And that's not a bad thing because they're absolutely stunning. You just think that with a name like German blue, they'd be a blue fish, but they're mostly orange, red and black with a hint of blue. I don't know, I just thought that was kind of funny. German blue rams have a very similar temperament to the blue acaras in that they're not known to be aggressive at all. They just keep to themselves and they look gorgeous. And since they stay small, then you could put them in a smaller tank. You could have quite a few of them in a 20-gallon aquarium. But I wouldn't go any smaller than that.
Okay, it's time to get serious now. Enough messing around. We got to talk about the top 3. And if I'm being honest with you, all 3 of these fish could have easily been number 1. I am not shocked at all that these are the top 3 fish on the list. But number 3 might be a bit controversial because you might say, John, you can't put koi in an aquarium, and you'd be right, unless it's like a 1,000-gallon aquarium, but who has a tank that big? Anyway, this list is the most beautiful freshwater fish, not the most beautiful fish that can fit in an aquarium in your living room. Okay, full transparency, for a time I thought this fish was going to end up being in the top spot on the list, and for a while it seemed like it was going to end up that way, but the other 2 had a bit of a surge and overtook them, and like I said, I'm okay with that because these are all awesome fish. But koi? Come on. Tell me there's a more beautiful fish. People get them tattooed on their bodies, and if I'm being real with you, I've actually considered doing that myself. People overseas practically worship them, and you're not gonna find a fish that's more valuable. I've seen videos on YouTube at farms that talk about some of their koi being sold for more than what Lisa and I paid for our house. It's insane. If you talk to a guy and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna tell you what, I bought 2 of the most beautiful German blue rams you've ever seen in your life. I bought them from the nicest breeder out there, the most world famous breeder, and I paid $500 a piece for those German blue rams. You'd be like, someone seriously needs to have a talk with that guy. He's lost his damn mind. But if that same guy came to you and said, man, let me tell you what, I was at an auction the other day and I saw a daggone koi fish go for 100 grand. You'd be like, well, yeah, I've heard they're pretty expensive. Now, in my personal opinion, and don't be too offended by this, there's no such thing as a fish that's worth that much. But there's people out there with more money than sense, and they're willing to do it. That's how popular and valuable koi are. An ugly fish isn't going to have that kind of demand. Yes, I've gotten rather koi obsessed ever since I got my pond. I absolutely love them, and I can't wait to get more because there's just this thing about them. I don't know. They're just unbelievable. They're not just gorgeous. They just draw you in. It's just a different thing. I guess my hippie friends would say there's a zen to them.
I know what you're thinking. Wow, how convenient is it that Lisa got betas as number 2 on the list? I'm really excited about it too. But hey, listen, you made this list and betas ended up at number 2. If you look at our past videos, John and I go back and forth in the same pattern in every one. So yeah, this was just a happy coincidence. Anyway, who cares about all that? Let's talk about what is undoubtedly a fish that could have easily been number 1, and I bet there's a ton of people that think it should be. Betas are almost their own category of fish keepers. You've got the cichlid keepers, your planet aquarium keepers, your freshwater, your saltwater, and then you have the beta keepers. And boy, are some of y'all crazy. And I, of all people, totally get it. There's something about these colorful little fish that just capture my heart. They have adorable personalities, can go in smaller nano tanks so you can have them on your desk really close to you while you're working or whatever. And there's something about them that will just grab you. And there's no debating the fact that they're available in some of the most stunning color patterns and fins you've ever seen. From the simple and streamlined plaquettes to the extravagant half moons and crown tails, these fish will take your breath away. And don't get me started on those aliens. You may or may not know that up until recently, we were selling betas on our website. We did give it up for some reasons. It's really not any big deal. But there were some people that would buy like 10 or 12 betas. I mean, they love these fish. These weren't irresponsible fish keepers that bought them all to put in one tank because they didn't know any better. They bought that many because they set up individual tanks for all of them. Why would someone set up that many tanks just for betas? Well, like I said, there's something about them that just grab a hold of you and won't let go. Betas could practically be their own religion. That's how crazy we are over these fish. And it doesn't surprise me that they were number 2, but I really do wish they had been number 1. And that's okay, because John got that one, and you'll see why.
So here we are. It's all come down to this, the number 1 most beautiful fish in the freshwater hobby, voted on by you. Are you ready to know what number 1 is? Well, in order to see that, you're gonna have to become a channel member and click right here to see that video. I'm kidding, don't click away. Let's all lighten up here, just having a little bit of fun with you. But Lisa and I did do a bonus video for our channel members where we talk about 3 fish that just barely missed this list. And one of them you happen to be looking at right now. But anyway, if you want to see that video, click the join button down below, become a channel member, and then click right here. The fish that you voted as number 1, the most beautiful fish in the freshwater hobby, is none other than discus. That's right, it's discus. And if that surprises you, you haven't really looked at these fish. This is a fish we carried at our store for a while, and I swear to you, we'd get people every day that would come in and say, hey, hold on a second. These are freshwater? I could have swore they were saltwater. Yes, they're freshwater, and yes, they're magnificent. Quite possibly the most stunning fish you'll ever see in someone's living room, but there's some things you need to know about them before you rush out to fill your tank with them. First is they're very expensive, and there's really no way around that. If you want to get them larger, like this big, you could be paying $200 to $300 a piece. While that's nothing compared to a $300,000 koi from Japan, it's still pretty steep because you're not going to want to just get 1 or 2 of them. You're going to want 125 gallon and put like 12 to 16 of them in there. According to my math, that's $2,400 to $4,800 just for fish. Are they worth it? Well, of course they are. But damn. Next thing you need to know is discus aren't the easiest fish to keep. They might not be as difficult as some think, but you're still going to want to be on your A game if you're going to keep them. Don't go buying discus for your first tank. So my advice to you is 2 things. Get some experience under your belt. Learn the hobby by experiencing the trials and tribulations of keeping a glass box full of water, and then try them. Don't watch 3 YouTube videos and think you know everything about them and you're ready, because you're not. And the next bit of advice would be to buy them small. Get them like this size. You're gonna pay like 1/10 of the price for them, and you're gonna have the satisfaction of watching these little cuties grow up to be full size. I really can't say enough about discus. They're just some of the most mesmerizing fish you'll ever see. They're available in all the colors and patterns, and yeah, you'll pay a pretty penny for them, but they're absolutely worth it. So there you go. There is your list of the most beautiful fish in the freshwater hobby. And I gotta tell you something. I don't know how you feel about it, but I had a lot of fun doing this one. So let's do it again. Only this time, let's do filters. Put down in the comments section what you think is the best filter type and best filter brand. And just like with this video, if I get a good enough response to it, I'll make a video all about it. Please remember, if you want to support the channel, you can easily do that by ordering products that you're already going to be ordering anyway from our website, keepfishkeeping.com. That helps us out in a big way. But if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to go that far and you want to do something that's totally free, just subscribe to the channel. That doesn't cost you anything. And yes, it does help us out a great deal. Whatever it is that you choose to do, just know we appreciate it very much, and we can't wait to see you again next week. See ya.